welcome back to my channel, and in this video I'm going to try my hardest not to continuously play with my hair or touch it, because I have a habit of that, and it's like a awkward thing I do. Like if I feel awkward for any reason, I'm just always like, yeah, let me just fix my hair really quick. So I'm sorry if that's annoying to you guys. It's annoying to me, so I'm going to try my best to not do that. Okay, so I know that this is like a daily vlog channel where I'm supposed to like basically record what we do every day and all that stuff, and you guys might ask, like, why don't you just make a different channel for these kind of videos? Because these kind of videos are called sit down videos, where you basically, you know, just sit down and talk to the camera, well, to you guys. And my answer to that is, I don't know. I just don't feel like making a separate channel for videos like this right now. But maybe in the future I will. But yeah, so we do daily videos, but I also like to switch it up and do little sit downs where I talk to you guys about some things that's on my mind and what I want to share with you. Okay, I had to put my hair up because it was too hard not to want to touch my hair. So now that it's up, I won't touch it. So, okay. Today's video, I want to talk about anxiety and panic attacks. And I'm sure a lot of you guys who are watching this are watching it because I'm sure in some way you will be able to relate to me about what you go through with when you have anxiety and panic attacks and how it makes you feel. I deal with anxiety and panic attacks. The reason why I say deal is because you literally have to deal with it. There's like really no cure for it. It's what I've been told, it's like a mind over matter type of thing, and I don't know, it's just, I'm going to try to make this video as short as I can because I could go on and on about this topic because it's something I live with and what I have to live with every day. So it all started when I was 7 years old. I was with my mom and my brothers. We were at home. It was kind of late-ish, so we were watching, I think, wrestling, and it started off with me feeling like I had a stuffy nose because I felt like I wasn't, like, I couldn't breathe. I could breathe, but it felt like I had my nose all stuffed up. So my mom gave me some cold medicine, and I took it, and feeling was still there. So I'm gonna fast forward a little bit. After, this is the first time I've ever experienced a panic attack, and I was 7. So after a while, we were continuing to watch wrestling, and then realizing like I couldn't breathe and that medicine wasn't working for whatever reason, I felt my body go into this panic mode. And then from there on, being so young, not knowing what's going on, and then all of a sudden you had this huge rush of panic, I started to freak out, and then resulting in me freaking out, I kept like freaking out, jumping up and down, screaming, crying, saying, I'm gonna die, I'm gonna die. And then of course my mom, not knowing what's going on, she starts to freak out as well, like not like adding to it, but like saying, like, you can tell she's like freaking out, like, what's going on, I don't know what to do. So she called 911, and then the ambulance came, and then as she was like hurrying up to get dressed, like out of her pajamas, I kept freaking out saying, I'm gonna die. Like, that's just like my panic. Like, I had no idea what was going on, so it was just very scary. So they put me on a little stretcher. We went to the ambulance, and they weren't sure at the time because it's years ago. Like, I'm 22 now, so I was 7 at the time. So years ago, my mom tried her best to explain like what was going on, and since I was so young, they couldn't really get like the full story out of me because I didn't know either. So they didn't have much to go by besides like what happened and what was going on with me. So they weren't sure how to diagnose like what happened. So they said something, which to this day made no sense why they would say it could have been that. I don't remember, but I know it didn't make sense. So after a while, when we were still at the hospital, we were waiting for the doctor to come evaluate me and everything. But in the meantime, my mom and I were just walking around the hospital, you know, trying to calm me down more. And what's weird is that just walking around and drinking water calms me down. And it made us look kind of foolish. Like, here we are coming here by ambulance with a little girl freaking the heck out, and then all of a sudden I was much better and I was relaxed and calm. And I don't think they gave me any medicine when we showed up, because like I said, they didn't know like what happened, so they weren't just gonna be like, here, take this pill. That was then. I was 7 years old, and that's how it started. And then the next one I had, I don't remember exactly how old I was. I want to say I was like 10 or 11, one of those. It was a couple of years later, not too much longer. Anyway, so we were watching Lord of the Rings, and the reason why I'm telling you like what I was doing when these happened is because I feel like my surroundings is what kind of provokes my anxiety to just come up sometimes your anxiety will will appear for absolutely no reason. So we were watching Lord of the Rings, and all of a sudden I felt the panic coming again, and I just knew that I was having another one of those freakouts that I had when I was younger, a couple of years ago, like when I was younger. So my mom kind of figured out like, oh, she's kind of having the same freak out again. So she called my aunt, and my aunt came over, and my aunt was there to like help me out, because my mom thought like, oh, we don't want to go to the ambulance again. Maybe if I invite her aunt over, she'll help me calm her down, like help calm me down. So she came over, and all they did was talk to me, you know, like help talk to me, and then we just walked around the house a little bit, this and that. So there was my second anxiety, little panic attack thing. Okay, let's like go fast forward years later. I'm acting like I'm old, but you know what I mean. So I'm just gonna get to the point where I tell you the symptoms of anxiety and panic attacks. So when I was in high school, I did some like research, like why do I act this way, what, blah, blah, like basically figuring out what is wrong with me. So I kind of figured out myself from my mom and my dad and my grandma, because they all have anxiety and panic attacks as well, as much as I'm aware of. I know my mom has it and everything. So when they were telling me what they go through, I kind of like processed it with what I go through, and then I like Googled and all that stuff. I'm not saying Google is a doctor or anything, but I mean, Google does help you if you really want to find information. I've learned without a doctor's like diagnosis that, hey, it makes sense that I have anxiety and I have these panic attacks. So then eventually one day, and when I was in high school, I had a really bad panic attack, to the point where I called my mom. I was like, Mom, I need to go to the hospital because I don't know what the heck is wrong with me. Here I am hyperventilating and all this craziness. So we went to the hospital. They were like, yeah, you're sensitive to caffeine, because I forgot to mention before this panic attack like abruptly came to me, I did drink a Red Bull, which I have not drank a Red Bull since. Okay, maybe I have a few times, but now, like to now, I'm not in high school anymore, but I haven't drank a Red Bull and who knows how long, and it's sad because that's my favorite drink, but I will never drink a Red Bull again. Like, that's just, it's not worth it, all that craziness that it causes, because I went to the hospital and they gave me a like pill that relaxed my nerves, because my like blood pressure was whew, and then I was shaking because he clearly said, okay, yeah, you're sensitive to caffeine and you're having a panic attack. And I was like, yeah, I kind of figured that, but I just wanted to be there, and I wanted them to like tell me to my face, you know. But then it wasn't just the emergency room telling me I have a panic attack, because I also went to like my normal doctor and they were like, yeah, you do, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, that was then. And my symptoms, okay, the last time I had a like crazy, horrible panic attack was honestly like maybe a month or two ago. It was very recent, and whew, that's no whole nother story, but I'm gonna tell you my symptoms of that. This panic attack, this last panic attack, I have no idea where it came from and why I had it. But basically it started out where I was starting to feel super like lightheaded and dizzy, and I was like, okay, I know this is gonna start into a little panic attack. So it's like a mind over matter thing, so I tried to like brush it off, like, okay, there's nothing I'm stressing over, please just leave me alone, you know. I was like focusing on other things, blah, blah, blah. But sometimes your anxiety doesn't care what you try to do to get rid of it. It will come and take over your body, because it's like hard. It's anxiety and panic attacks are just simply hard to just brush off. So anyway, so I was trying to focus on other things, but then late at night when we were about to lay in bed, I was feeding Brielle, and then I was just like, okay, I'm about to have a full-blown panic attack, and there's nothing I can do to stop it at this point, because when you're nursing, you can't take any type of, well, at least this is what I've been told, you can't take any type of anxiety medicine to help calm you down. You just can't take any kind of medicine to help you. So I tried a lot of techniques like distracting myself, talking to Kevin. I tried to like do some breathing techniques, and like some people say to do yoga, but when you're so far in a panic attack, you cannot think of anything but the fact that you're having anxiety and you're freaking out on top of your anxiety because you're having anxiety. It's just a whole whirlwind of craziness that goes through your mind. So I was dizzy, lightheaded, hyperventilating, and when I hyperventilate, my hands go numb, my arms go numb, and my hands tend to like feel like they're clenching like this, like I can't open them, and then my mouth feels like it's clenching together, and like feels like you're talking like this, and then my mouth gets really numb and tingly, and then my nose, and then it gets really hard for me to breathe, and that makes me panic more because I'm like, okay, I can't breathe, I'm starting to hyperventilate now, and at this point it's just done. Like, and the one thing, every time I have a panic attack, I feel bad because I know Kevin tries his best to help me, but I can't focus on him trying to help me. I just immediately tell him, okay, you need to call my mom. And for whatever reason, if they're not as bad as if my panic attacks aren't as bad as it was like that like month ago, my mom I can simply call my mom and she can help me out of it. And that's crazy to me because it's funny. And it's just funny because she's like almost like 2,000 something miles away, and I'm just like, hey mom, well, not calm like that, but you know what I mean. I'm like, hey mom, I'm having a panic attack, help me out. And then like just hearing her talking to me, she sometimes usually just will talk me out of it. But when I just had the recent one, there was no talking me out of it. Like, it actually led me to the emergency room here in Arizona, but I didn't want to be evaluated. What helps me, what I thought would help me at this point was going there knowing I'm in a safe area just in case something were to happen. So we were in the waiting room, but at this point Kevin's like higher ranked person was like, well, yeah, well, we need proof that you went there, blah, blah, blah. So I did have to be evaluated, even though I knew the outcome. It was just gonna be this and that, and it was a simple thing, but we waited a while, and I was like, ugh. But being there just helped me feel a little more at ease, because being at home, I was afraid, like, what if I fainted or I passed out? Like, I'm at home, like, that's scary. I'd rather be in a safe area. And this whole time I was on the phone with my mom, and you know, I feel bad for Kevin because it's like, what if it was like change of roles? Like, what if he had these crazy panic attacks and I didn't? I would be scared. Like, I would feel like helpless. I wouldn't know what to do. So I can only imagine how he feels when this happens. And I don't know exactly like what a heart attack feels like or anything, but it honestly, like, if I were to know, I think it would feel like a mini heart attack. That's like the best I can explain it. And there's like a whole severity of panic attacks. Like mine's severe, at least that's how I feel. And then there's also types of anxiety, like there's social anxiety and things like that, but I don't have social anxiety. And I personally feel like everyone has anxiety, but like there's like normal anxiety. Like if you're like afraid to be in front of a crowd and you have to speak, you get anxious. Like that's typical. I feel like everyone has that, unless you're like really brave or whatever, but you know what I mean. But then there's people who have that chemical imbalance, because honestly, panic attacks and having a different kind of anxiety is a chemical imbalance. And I'm not saying everyone has a chemical imbalance, I'm just, because the normal anxiety is much different than someone who has anxiety like me. Or if you're watching this and you have the same symptoms or you have anxiety, then yeah. I hope that Brielle does not have this, because I wouldn't even wish this feeling on my worst enemy. Like I said, my symptoms are dizziness, lightheadedness, hyperventilating, trouble breathing, shaking, numbness, tingling. I can't focus. I feel like I'm going to faint. It's no fun. And if you're watching this, just know that you're not alone. Like when I'm going through like panic attacks and stuff like that, I feel like I'm alone. Like I feel like I'm not normal. I'm the only one going through all of these crazy symptoms of a panic attack, and it's horrible. And I know that the cousin to a panic attack and anxiety is depression, but I personally don't feel like I had depression. I was never diagnosed with depression or anything like that, which I'm thankful for, because I know like anxiety and depression are like kind of hand in hand sometimes for some people. And I'm lucky enough to not have those symptoms or feelings. Like sure, sometimes I'll feel sad and stuff, and sometimes after a really bad panic attack, the next day I'll feel just drained, only because it takes a lot out of you. When I was in high school, I did take like medicine. I had like this emergency medicine, I don't know the name of it, but it definitely like calmed me down. And then eventually, like it's like a little like muscle relaxer. It's not what it's called, but I don't know the name of it. And then eventually, once I was so relaxed and calm, it's not Xanax either. I don't remember the name, but then I would go to sleep, and that's why they call it like an emergency medicine. I wouldn't take it. I don't take any medicine at the moment, like at all, because I try to like I try to talk myself out of it with help from like my mom and stuff. And I've been doing that like for like a couple years now, just getting over it myself without any help from medicine. But when I was in high school, I did take the emergency medicine, and that I would only take it if I had like the hardcore, this isn't gonna go away panic attack. If you guys have any anxiety or have any kind of panic attacks, leave in the comments below if you feel comfortable doing so, what your symptoms are and what you go through when you have a panic attack. What helps for me when I am going through it is I need someone to talk to me, and it is like I overthink a lot of things as well. Like I overthink probably every day. In the end, it makes you a stronger person, I believe, because oh my gosh, it's crazy. Like you have to be a strong person to go through like what people go through when they have all this happening. But it basically is what it is. I mean, you learn from it. It makes you realize more, like everyone has a story, and it's interesting to learn about people and what they go through. Kevin's pretty normal. He's boring. No, I'm just kidding. But the only real issue he has is like he has stomach issues and stuff like that. But I'm really happy that he doesn't ever have to deal with like what I deal with, like anxiety wise and stuff, because it is no fun. And I just hope that Brielle does not, or any of our kids in the future, deal with this, because I don't know if it's like genetic or not. I'm hoping it's not, but it kind of seems like it is, because like I said, my mom, my dad, and my grandma have these as well. And I have it now, so thank you guys, by the way, thank you. Pretty much my story is, yes, I do deal with anxiety and panic attacks, and You will get through it. Yes, it stinks and it's hard to deal with. You just gotta choose happiness over it. Like, don't let it bring you down. Just know that your family's there for you and you have support. And even like talking to a therapist, I personally don't talk to a therapist. I've never talked to a therapist about my anxiety, but if you choose to do that, I believe it probably helps you so much. Like, I'll have to look into it, because maybe like even going to therapy will help you like learn how to cope, like learn how to like shut it off sometimes, if that makes sense. Like, if you feel your anxiety coming, maybe there's ways to like stop it from coming like crazy. I just hope my story kind of gives you an idea of like what some people may mean when they say they have anxiety or panic attacks. Like, they may seem fine on the outside, but on the inside they're living every day wondering, well, at least I do, wondering if like right now they're gonna get some kind of anxiety. But Kevin is very understanding. He's still with me even when I do become crazy. I don't know how he does it. But basically, that's my story. It started when I was 7 years old, and it's forever gonna be here with me. And I deal with it, I get over it. I'm not telling you guys to get over it, because, you know, it is hard to get over it, but eventually, it's like that saying, this too shall pass. Because in the moment when you have that panic attack, it sucks. Excuse my language. Just, it's bad. Like, it's horrible. You feel not normal. Like, you feel like you're not normal. But it'll go away. And then in the end, you overcame your anxiety and you're a stronger person, and we did it. Okay, I'm getting really rambly over here. I don't know what I'm trying to say now. So feel free to message me on Twitter. I'll leave all the links below. On Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, whatever. Just know that if you are ever feeling really panicky or anything like that, just talk to me. I will try my best to talk you through this, because I know that if I was in your position, I would want someone to talk to vent to, just to get my mind off of everything. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, please subscribe to my channel. We do make daily vlogs, and if you guys are new to my channel, check out my other videos. I hope you guys can connect with us somehow and want to stick with us throughout this little journey thingy we're gonna go through. We'll see you guys tomorrow. I will do like an actual vlog. We will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.